Friends was a great show, and so was How I Met Your Mother. But are they the greatest sitcoms of all time? Heck no. As great as those two shows are, they were certainly problematic at times. Not to mention the fact that most of us watched those two shows countless times. Some of us even have the dubious honor of being able to quote dialogues and factoids from the show with utmost ease. People will hate to admit it, but the fact is, unless they get something new from these shows, like an unaired segment, a blooper reel, or a reunion episode, people have grown tired of the show, especially on the back of the year that just had. And given that a complete lockdown is all but imminent, we just cannot go back to binge watching those two shows again. So here are a few sitcoms that are extremely popular and extremely funny as well. And yes, in some regards, they're actually better than Friends and How I Met Your Mother. 7. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Finally, we have The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you want to know just how good Will Smith's comic timing can be, and just how funny a no-holds-barred American sitcom can really be, this is the show that you ought to watch. Seriously, this was a genre-defining show that was somewhat ahead of its time. 6. Seinfeld. Then, we have the OG of all sitcoms, Seinfeld. Seinfeld for a long time was the most popular American sitcom until Friends came along. Granted that there are a few things that wouldn't exactly sit well with an audience of this decade, but nonetheless, the show is extremely funny. 5. Modern Family. Another show that's totally binge-worthy is Modern Family. The show has its slow moments, but by and large, the show is hilarious. Be it Ty Burrell, Eric Stonestreet, or Sofia Vergara, the mannerisms that these people embody, or the pragmatism that the Pritchett family showcases, there's something for everyone. 4. Schitt's Creek. It takes a while to get warmed up to Schitt's Creek, but once you do, trust us, there's nothing else that you would like to watch until you finish the 6 seasons of the show. The show is of course very hilarious and genuinely well written, but at times, it is also very poignant. Then there is the fact that this show has done a lot for the community, more than any sitcom. 3. Parks and Recreation. Another gem of a show that is hilarious is Parks and Recreation. The cast is simply stellar, and the writing is phenomenal. Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman are just hilarious as characters. All the supporting characters too have their own moments. This is a proper tickler of a show if you still haven't watched it. 2. The Office. Do you know when a show is really, really hilarious? When they don't need to use a laughter track to tell audiences that this was a punchline. The Office is the brainchild of Ricky Gervais, perhaps one of the funniest people to have ever graced the television screen. There are basically 2 versions of this, the British one which lasts for just 1 series, and the American one. 1. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. This just has to be one of the funniest sitcoms that you'll ever watch. Trust us when we say that there is not one dull moment with the show. The best thing about the show is just how snackable the content is. The show has its own fanbase, which, by the way, includes the Dalai Lama. And if His Holiness approves of the show and tweets about it, you know it's worth your time.